Hello, world. It's John Pinto, your roving realtor, bon vivant, video blogger, here with Ted Stephanos with HomeGuard Natural Hazard Disclosures. That's a mouthful, Ted. How are you?
I'm doing fine. How are you doing today, John?
Very good. Can you say that any faster than I can?
No, you did fine. Yeah, you really have to think about it before you say it, right?
And Rafael, I'm not even going to attempt it. Who the hell are you with?
I am with HomeGuard Incorporated. We do all inspection services needed, and I'm the territory manager for San Francisco North Bay. If you ever have any questions or just want to order some inspections.
I'm going to let you guys do the heavy lifting in the future on declaring what the name of the multiple entities are. It's a little rough for my simple mind. And here we are. We're going to talk about airport influence areas. Now, there's all kinds of things that we could talk about when you look at HomeGuard's NHD tab on their website. I personally plucked out the airport influence area because I had lived in downtown San Jose for 26 years, Ted, and we were on South 14th Street and South 16th Street, which is out of the airport approach area. Usually in good weather, we would have the airplanes powering down coming in from the south. But when there was heavy rain and weather and clouds, they would take off in the south, and we would get a lot more sound reverberating from the engines coming through the moisture in the clouds, as opposed to when there was good weather and they would take off going north, and there wasn't quite as much to fly over in the north. It was mostly San Francisco Bay. It wasn't quite as populated, except for Rosemary Gardens, which would get pounded with the takeoffs. And of course, the city of San Jose implemented a program where they could all get double pane windows. So without further ado, tell us about the implications of airport influence areas.
Sure. So what you did a good job in introducing that, especially with the double pane windows, because in these zones that are established by airport land use committees, if you're living within these areas, then you do have you do fall under the program of getting a sound insulation through the county. So the thing is about the airport influence areas is that, like I said, they are established by airport land use commissions, but the parameters differ from county to county. So you could have San Jose Airport, and you would have the airport influence area be, you know, the direction of the runway generally goes north and south, and so the takeoff areas and landing areas north and south of the runways would be areas that are within that airport influence area. If you have a runway that does more of a crisscross, then you could have more of a circular type looking airport influence area because air traffic would go in either direction. So these areas, of course, if you're buying a property in an airport influence area, it's just mainly important to realize that you could be negatively influenced by noise. Now, there could be other things too, like such as smells, because sometimes you can't smell the jet fuel and so forth, depending on wind blows, the way direction the wind's blowing. And also, of course, safety, because you could unfortunately have accidents in these areas as well. So those are the three main things to evaluate when you're buying property within an airport influence area. But like I said, it does differ from county to county. So for example, like I said, the San Jose Airport influence area is not that huge. It really covers North Santa Clara and areas around downtown San Jose. But when you go to San Mateo County, the Airport Land Use Commission in San Mateo County has essentially included the entire county of San Mateo in the airport influence area for San Francisco Airport. And even a smaller airport such as San Carlos Municipal Airport, that airport influence area basically goes all the way to North San Mateo boundary, all the way to like Highway 280, all the way down to Morgan, to Menlo Park.
So let me stop you. So let me stop you there. So say Reed Hillview. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, from my experience, you know, those Piper and Cessna props, as
Sure.
long as they don't crash in your house, are really not going to be that much of a nuisance. Would you agree with that?
Well, those can make quite a bit of noise, especially right in that area close to those runways.
Okay, so it is an issue.
Yeah, it is definitely an issue, and not only that, but the frequency. You know, you can, especially on the weekends, you can have a lot of flights taking off as well.
So noted. So noted.
Yeah. So, for example, you have, say, Reed Hillview. Comparing Reed Hillview Airport with San Carlos Airport, maybe it's pretty similar as far as the you might have more Lear jets and high-tech people flying into San Carlos Airport than you would Reed Hillview Airport. But the airport influence area for San Carlos Airport is probably about 10 times larger than Reed Hillview. San Carlos Airport is about 10 times larger. So why would that be? It's really just because it's under the discretion of that county's Airport Land Use Commission to make a determination. So it really depends on what county you're in to, you know, there's not a strict guideline to say this is the size, you know, it has to be like 1 mile or 2 miles or areas like that. Or, you know, many times they are looking at decibel readings, but sometimes they're just saying, look, let's just be safe here. And I don't want any lawsuits. And we're just going to put the entire county in an airport influence area for San Francisco Airport. So now
let's talk let's talk a little bit about AQI, which is on, and nobody knew what AQI was a month ago. Now everybody checks air quality index every morning. I never felt like it would be a good idea to be under the takeoff route as the jets were powering up and using all that fuel. Now, maybe I'm just a nervous Nelly, but does that play into the considerations of living in an airport zone?
It really, I think, differs from person to person because, you know, I myself, I live in Sunnyvale, so I'm in the flight path for Moffett, right?
Right.
Now, I personally like it. I don't mind at all when a massive C4 cargo jet is screaming at a slow pace, just coming in for a landing, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think it looks nice. Now you go on to what's that app called? Nextdoor, Next Home, whatever.
Yeah, Nextdoor
app. Yeah, and people just start complaining about how loud it is. Now, so to me, it doesn't bother me at all. But to some people, it really bothers them, and enough to put up a stink about it on Nextdoor and find out why that airport or why that helicopter was flying in that area or something like that. And it might be like an emergency because it's landing near a hospital or something like that. So, you know, it really is up to the individual, especially if you're an airplane enthusiast, or something you might really want to live by an airport. So it's kind of
every now and then I'll see a C5 coming in, and it was like, holy Toledo, look at that thing. It's like an aircraft carrier.
Exactly. Now Travis is probably the largest airport influence area in the state. It covers much of Solano County and even part of Contra Costa County. But that's, I mean, they probably have Beale is a big one as well, has a large airport influence area as well. But you do have probably the noisiest aircraft that are taking off from those areas and landing in those airports as well, military craft. But like I said, really, it kind of goes, you know, the disclosure report, the NHD report, you know, you're really covering yourself from a stellar standpoint. And, you know, of course, from a buyer standpoint, it's important to realize that because you might go to an open house on a Saturday and not realize that there's an airport nearby or something because you just caught that open house at a time where there wasn't airport traffic. But on the weekdays, it might be, you know, busier or something like that. So, and you might not notice it. So from a buyer standpoint, it's good to read and understand those things and know your surroundings, really.
So, Ted, if potential home buyers, realtors, homeowners want to check your site for airport influence areas, please advise them what the site is and what tab they're looking for.
Yeah, they can go to HomeGuard.com and click on the NHD tab, and it talks about everything that's in our NHD report. There's about 25 different disclosures, plus the tax and environmental disclosure that we provide. So,
excellent. And Rafael, let's say they're too lazy to check the website and they just want to call their HomeGuard concierge and have you text or email them the appropriate PDF or link. How do they contact you?
Absolutely. My direct line is 707-616-8762, or you can email me at rbetances@homeguard.com. That's RBETANCES@homeguard.com.
Gentlemen, thank you for telling us everything we need to know about airport influence areas. My diction is going to increase at an exponential pace with all these long titles that I have to pronounce that starts with the name of your company. So thank you for watching, and we'll see you on the next video.